Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started.
Hey.
What did you think of that, Gabriel?
That's good. That's awesome. I love that.
So you saw the timing on that. And
yeah.
And so we're here at the Pirate Broadcast, where we bring you interesting people doing interesting things. And Gabriel has been a long time attendee, and I just really love the fact that Gabriel's been working really hard to actually increase his game and get on the live stream opportunities that are out there. And he finally made it to. He's got LinkedIn Live now, and so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell us how you're doing, man.
I'm doing great, Russ. With everything that's going on in the world right now, I've been really concentrating on trying to find a lot of positive things going on. So I've really immersed myself in trying to get into live streaming, getting to doing video and that sort of thing. So I'm trying to keep a good positive vibe, and that's what I'm trying to share on my show as well in the evenings. Is I've been bringing on musical guests. I've had people come on and perform songs, do that sort of thing, kind of share entertainment, I've also had a couple fellow pirates who've been on your show. I've had them on mine, and just bringing again people who have a good message, positive. They want to share, the really great aspects of life. So, that's and of course just really getting myself in a good state of mind and just being with my family. I was quarantined for 14 days, so that was quite a journey, and I've been enjoying family time a lot more now. I'll tell you that much.
Well, we're all going through this process, and I think it's really important for us to understand that, there are positive alternatives to doing nothing. So I'm not sure, like yourself, you've been studying how to improve your skill set and actually create your own show and develop and mature this whole concept of made from scratch broadcast, because I think it's really important for us to pick something that we're passionate about and actually put it out in the world and share that story and that message. And so I want to go back a little bit, because we first met on LinkedIn, and you started following the Pirate Broadcast and asking questions and popping in and making comments and really being part of the community. And I appreciate that so much. It means a lot to me. And the pirate community has been very, a lot of the same people are, sharing great information and lifting others up and, being real positive. So then you started to think about the broadcast and everything that goes along with that. So what prompted you to think that, was it all along you wanted to do this, or
No.
at some point in time you said, I can do this?
It started out like at the beginning of the year, right? Everybody creates their, New Year's resolutions, goals, that sort of thing. So one of the things that I had created for myself was just to talk about challenges. I wanted to challenge myself to try different things, do different things that I would not normally do. So my original idea that when I wanted to start doing something was just to create a podcast. I said, you know what, I'll get into podcasting. I see a lot of people doing it and, that sort of thing. So I started doing a little investigative work at that point. And then I found you. And I said, whoa, this is like podcasting, but like on the next level. You get to actually, you can integrate things, you can do these sort of things. So I started watching the show. And the conversations you were having with people and the vibes you were pushing across, I said, man, this is what I want to try to do. So from that point, it was just starting to reach out to folks, and then I was able to reach out to you. We had a few conversations, and you know what? One of the things that a lot of people would tell me is, "Hey, if you're going to do that, it's a lot of commitment." And I said, "Well, that's my whole thing. Is I'm ready to commit to it." So, I put everything together, and one day I said, "You know what? Here's what I'm going to do." I just had a few ragtag things thrown together. I started it in my garage. I went live for the first time, and since then, I said, "You know what? I love this." I didn't even, and I really didn't before all of this. I really didn't like being on camera. I didn't like taking pictures. I did not. It was the weirdest thing. Even in pictures when I was a kid, I was always crying or hiding my face, and I didn't have like a ton of selfies on any of my social media. I just didn't like taking pictures, and to all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself. This is what I'm going to do. I put myself.
There's a really bad echo.
Yeah.
Like,
there's an open.
There's an open mic someplace.
And there might be an open source. Hold on a sec. Let me close this out because
we got a couple of nerds here on video. Gabriel's always testing something, so let's see if we can.
Yeah. So, but with my mic, it might be the open source there. Hold on just a second. Let me close this out. Because what's happening is when you hear the feed and you hear the... Let me close that out. There we go. Do you still hear it? Is there the bad echo? I don't think I hear it anymore. I think it's gone. So...
How is that?
There you go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool.
I couldn't hear your echo, so...
Yeah, it was an open source, so that's what I tell somebody too. Same sort of deal. When you hear that reverb, there's usually something somewhere that's still open. So again, there it goes. But, so that's one of the first things that I did. And let me make sure my mic.
I think it's on my side.
So. No, it should be. I can hear the echo.
Let me try something else.
So,
yes.
You can see when I got my mic. Let's go audio. Check it out. Bingo. Hello, test.
Is that okay?
There we go.
So I hear it on your side when I'm talking.
Yeah, same sort of deal. I was hearing it. Do you hear it now? I don't hear it. I don't hear the.
I don't hear it.
No.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay, let's try that.
All right. Well, there you go. But
so hopefully that resolves it. Let me know. Yeah. Is that resolving it?
Because that's one of the, again, this is the fun thing though. This is what I love about doing a live stream. All the mishaps, all the stuff that can go on, all the craziness that happens. You don't get this with the edited video. You don't get this sort of messing around, playing with things, that sort of thing. But again, this is what I love about doing live streaming. And I tell people whenever I invite people on myself and I have conversations with folks, I tell them, look, before you know it, an hour will pass by and we've had a conversation and you won't even realize it. I had somebody on who was kind of a little bit reserved. Her name was Harpreet. She was kind of nervous a little bit at first. And by the time we were done, it was almost an hour long. And she goes, wow, that was so fast. I said, well, when you're having a conversation and things are flowing and you're sitting here talking, again, who can't talk about themselves? Yeah. So if you're having a problem talking about yourself, there's a more major issue going on than just being on live video. I don't think that's the problem.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point. And this is a perfect exercise to illustrate our ability that we're testing this stuff. We're practicing this technology is evolving, and there's a lot to be said about progress over perfection, and
Yeah.
the ability and the opportunity to just put yourself out there and say, hey, I'm going to experiment with this. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to grow with it. And then pretty soon, in a few months, I'm going to know so much more than I did before because I took action. I
Yes.
took the initiative to test this. And whether I succeed or fail, the reality is I learn through it. So every failure is a lesson and experience, and every success is something I can look back on and say, okay, I did this. And I think that goes across life. It's one of those things that we have to at least adapt, especially
Yeah.
in this day and age right now where we're going through this thing. There's a lot of change taking place that we don't know what the outcome is going to be. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to end. All of these things are unknown, and we have control over our thoughts. We have control over our actions. We have control over what we're going to do with it. And so I applaud you, Gabriel, for taking the initiative and learning that I didn't want to take pictures. However, I love the fact that I can get on camera and interview other people and find out about, because it's the conversations that we have that are really amazing, right?
Yeah, and that was the thing that kind of helped me get real familiar with being able to do live streaming, that sort of thing. Was the fact that you could actually have a conversation with somebody, and if you can ignore that the camera's there, then you're able to just talk. So
Yeah.
imagine just having a phone conversation with somebody without all the fancy stuff going on around it, and you can just about do that. So that's the way I approach it. And when I tell people, hey, let's come on and have a conversation. Let's just and I do a sort of thing where when I invite somebody on, I send them kind of like a pre-show questionnaire, and it's 5 of them are general questions. 5 of them are just kind of tailored to specifically what they do. So, but again, when we get on, it's very rare that I get to go through all 10 questions, because we start having a conversation. Somebody drops an interesting fact, a nugget, something or another, and we just start talking about that, and it goes even further. So, but again, I think you have to test this technology. You have to test these things. That's how you're going to find how to find your own sort of uniqueness and style when you create something. Again, everybody has their own, but again, you don't have to do all the fancy stuff that we're doing here now. You can just pick up your phone if you wanted to get on and go to Facebook Live.
Yeah.
They've even done a lot of work on their own integration as far as their live platform that you go to on your laptop. So you can see signal strength, analytic. You can see all kinds of things. So a lot of these other platforms are starting to do this because they see second and third tier streaming sources like StreamYard putting all this stuff together, and they say, "Whoa, we better step our game up." Even Twitter, even Instagram, they can hop on now with 2 people. It gives you the option. So when you go to Periscope, you can have 2 people on your conversation now. We did this on Instagram. You can just hop, but again, it's testing the boundaries and just seeing what you can do. And that's why anybody that come and ask me now, I say, look, I reached out to somebody like you. I tell them, look, I got to pay it forward. What do you want to learn? What do you want to do? There's so much you can do. There's so little that you can do. But what is your objective, right? So,
what's the goal here?
Yeah, like for me right now, my goal is 100 episodes.
Your goal is 100 episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you'll get there.
Yeah, right now.
How close are you?
Right now, probably about a third of the way. This evening will be episode 39. So it won't take very long. I mean, if you're doing it 5 nights a week, they crank out really fast. So some people look back and they go, "Hey, man, you already got like 40 episodes almost." And I go, "Well, yeah." Because some people, they won't have 40 episodes, and they've been doing like a podcast for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And they see how fast it's amassing. And I say, well, it's because I do it every night, regardless if I have a guest or not. I
I
kind of
think
like,
the other side effects, I think the other side effect that I want to bring out to the table and talk about a little bit, Gabriel, is that as a result of doing that 5 nights a week and really putting yourself out there, you actually start to find your voice, find your groove of what it is that you really are interested in talking about. What is it the conversation needs to bring to the table in order for you to find a little bit of joy in the conversation? Because it's a level of commitment that a lot of people are unwilling to make. And I feel like it's like, hey, I get to be here.
yeah,
I get to have this conversation with you. I have an opportunity to talk with some things and talk about something I'm passionate about, and share a few things with some of the people on the list here that are coming up. And it's really powerful to think that we have an opportunity to reach a lot of people and make an impact and make a difference in somebody's life. And if you can make a positive impact in somebody's life today, I mean,
it,
you
it,
know,
just, it
it's
just
like,
takes it just takes one. It
yeah,
really just takes one person that you can. Again, you made an impact on me, and I was just one person. And now that message is going beyond just one person. It's
yeah,
going to somebody else and somebody else. And again, you just got to connect with that one. So
yeah,
when I started watching you for the first time, I go, man, this is awesome. It was actually you. I remember the first episode you had on that I watched was with Steve Sullivan, because Steve was one of the coolest guys that when I first got on LinkedIn, he reached out to me and told me to share my story.
yeah,
I had put out my first video. He was like one of the first ones to send me a personal message, and I said, great. How do I share my story? And he says, keep doing what you're doing. Do
yeah,
videos, go write articles, go do all these things. So I said, okay, cool. So I just started following along and hopping in, and because I'd been on LinkedIn for a year. I mean,
uh-huh,
I had followed a lot of the big people. I had been watching, but I never, I never engaged with anybody.
yeah,
I would always maybe like something or nothing. I never really commented. I never really took the time, um, I said one day, hey, I see a lot of people writing good, insightful comments and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna jump in and do that.
yeah,
And from there, it just took off, and every single step has kind of evolved into the point where now some of the people that I used to follow, I'm able to actually reach out to and say, hey, do you want to come on and have a conversation?
yeah,
And this is the fun part about having your own little show. You get to share again, and again, I'm only in episode 38, and I'm still feel like I'm finding my voice.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
you create, you share things, you get to, and then you find wonderful people that you really connect with and make friendships along that journey. So I've had a few of those who come into my life, and I really connected with. I felt a real bond, and it went from there. And it was just all by reaching out and saying hello to somebody on a social media platform. And even now, the background behind me that you see,
uh-huh,
that was made by a fellow pirate. That was Miss Sherry Lawley is the one who did that for me.
yeah.
And I'm always appreciative of anything she's got. So
That
she,
that is awesome. We have some awesome people in the pirate community, and for those that don't know, there's a Facebook group and the opportunity of there. I actually went live with a 2-minute tip last night on the
oh,
pirate on the pirate page, and it's one of these things. A lot of people have been asking me for the 2-minute tips, and I don't know if
yeah,
you
check this
you
out. Yeah, I got the wait, check out the back, right? Check out the back.
yeah, 2-minute tips,
2 minute
perfect.
tips, guys. There's a pub for you, man. Check it out, guys. Check out the 2 minute tips. You need to bring it back.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that, Gabriel. That makes my day, man. That makes my whole week. Like, fantastic. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
So
it's those kinds of things that it's relationships. It's finding your voice, finding your message, and finding a way that you're comfortable about sharing it. A lot of people like writing. which is cool. You know, I've written thousands of blog posts, and you know, to me, this is where I find my joy. I get this is my happy spot. You know, it's like, okay, I get to have a I get to have a conversation with somebody that's interesting, and you know, and I've watched your journey, and I've watched you kind of evolve, and it's like I get excited for you, man. I get excited for you, and it's really exciting to.
And that's one of the things I tell everybody. Some of the people ask me, well, what was your technical background before all of this? And I say nothing. None of it. You know what it was? It was drive, passion, and the willing to want to learn. That was it.
Yeah.
And I used the two greatest teachers that I possibly could, Google and YouTube. They both taught me so much. I built my own website from watching those two, just Googling facts about creating a website, number one, and then going to YouTube and watching people do it. So now on my website, I embedded a lot of my past episodes. I started an internet radio station that's going right now while we're talking. I upload like past episodes of my show on there. So I schedule it. I can do that. I can play music on there. Again, and then I do this, what you do. I take the audio and I put it into a podcast form. And from there, you just let it do the work on its own. You can pick I use Anchor, but so anybody can use anything else. But again,
yeah, it's anyone. It's available to anyone. And, you know, and this is what I tell people, you are the media. You have the authority, you have the ability and opportunity to share your story. Whatever passion you have around a subject, you could actually create a channel around that. You can create a story about it. You can share that story. You can teach other people about it. You can, create an entire platform around it.
Yeah.
And people are doing it every day.
Again,
so
and yes, you see people every single day right now, especially right now, everybody's at home. You start seeing, I'm starting seeing people hop on live, do interesting conversations. They're sharing things, which is great. I love that. I tell everybody, you use it. If the medium's there for you to use it, go ahead and hop on, share your message. But remember, once all this passes, what kind of commitment can you hold to doing something like that if you're going to invest it? That's why I said it is a commitment. This is a marathon that what me and you are actually doing. It's an everyday single marathon. It's not about hopping on and getting 10,000 followers overnight. That's not going to happen.
No.
Unless you're.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And that's the beauty of it, because right now, you know, we got David Munford in the room. We got Arcot. Vicky O'Neill's here. Angie's here. Teaching each other. Everything is figure outable. Yes, absolutely true. Wendy.
Yes, thank you, Wendy.
Is here. Jeff Young, thank you so much for being here. You're awesome. And, Sherry Lolly's in the room.
Hi, Sherry. Thank you, Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
You're the best.
And so I'm looking. I just apparently turned on my phone. So Rob Lowe, Billy Gerald. I mean, these are people that have been here before and have returned. Arcot and Jim Nixon. Hey, Jim, how are you doing? Andrew Kolikoff. Yes, platform. I have one, but I need a more polished one like this on the Pirate Broadcast.
Hey, you can find it. Just depend on what you want to. If you wanted to pick one social media platform, you can find just about anything to help you concentrate it, make it work.
And like I've done also, Gabriel, is if you're a little bit hesitant to do the technology and you're a little bit hesitant to really actually deal with it and the time and the effort and the energy that it takes, and you still want to be on and you still want it to be there, that's why I created the Pirate Syndicate. And after 150 episodes of the Pirate Broadcast, all of these pieces of the puzzle are very systematic. So now that the Pirate Syndicate is here, I can actually help others broadcast and then assist them in the process. So
Yeah,
it's really,
yeah,
both sides of the equation. I'll teach you how to do it,
yeah. And again,
or I'll do it for you.
that's why I said, and then on top of that, like what we were talking about before, creating an affiliate network.
Uh-huh.
If you wanted to go out and say, hey, look, not only can we help you create it, we can help you market it and get it out there. These
Mhm.
are like next level questions that you should really want to test, as far as, again, the boundaries of what you can do with video, with live streaming, and are endless. It's so that's why I have so much fun. It's like having a box of crayons and just picking every single color and using it just to see what it looks like. So
Just to experiment, see what I can do.
exactly. I mean, and because your forum has introduced me to so many interesting and wonderful people. Like, even you had Rob Balasabas on, and he does
Yeah,
his thing
from YouTube,
with
too, buddy.
TubeBuddy. Yes, and I connect with him a lot, and I love what he does. What he
Uh-huh.
shares and what he thinks. And then one of the things that we were talking about one day was Instagram, and he was the one that kind of told me, "Hey, have you ever heard of Lula?" And I said, "What's Lula?" And it's kind of like a StreamYard for
Instagram.
Instagram, and even TikTok. If you're in the TikTok, of course, you got to have. It's kind of like you with your hopping on live on your mobile with YouTube. You got to have a certain amount of followers. So I think it's
Yeah.
like 1,000. But if you got 1,000 followers, then you can get on. You can get on YouTube. I mean, excuse me. You can get on TikTok, and you have Instagram. Again, you can broadcast two separate. Exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah. Just like what we're doing here. And it's interesting too, because, now LinkedIn is saying, they've really had I would love the fact that they could bring the comments into, StreamYard. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why won't they open that up? And what are they doing? Why are they doing it? And we'll never know, because they don't return my calls, but it's like, come
Hey,
on, give us a
hey,
clue, give us an answer.
you got to keep bugging them enough. That's how I got. Actually, that's how I got LinkedIn Live. A friend that I had on, his name's Michael Goldberg. He was the one that kind of told me, "Hey, listen, shout out to Michael Goldberg, guys. If you don't follow him on LinkedIn, he's a HR." And again, we met at a workshop here locally in Dallas, and
Uh-huh.
through Lila Smith, who I love. She's awesome. She's been on the show.
Yep. She's a
Anyway,
pirate.
she's a pirate. So, but again, he kind of told me, listen, this is what you do. He kind of laid it out. He said, write them an angry letter, tell them why you're angry, and then tell them what you love about LinkedIn. So after they had closed my case for like the fourth time,
Uh-huh.
I was like frustrated. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I wrote them an angry letter, put it out there. They answered back. They sent me a thing saying, hey, you know, what are some of the things that you've been doing? And by that point, I already had like 25 or 30 episodes in. So I said, look, this is all the stuff content that I've created. I had been on other shows on LinkedIn. I put videos that I had put in there. So we
Mm-hmm.
kind of went back and forth for another couple weeks. And, then finally yesterday I got the word that they granted me access. And I said, again, I never would have got that if had I not, first of all, reached out to somebody who I met on LinkedIn. Second of
Yeah.
all, had I not even put the question out there and asked. So,
Sometimes it's just you gotta keep knocking on the door until they answer.
I
So
mean, even it goes to the point where I said, you know what? I go on sometimes when I see a lot of Gary Vee stuff on there. I ask in the comments, hey, would you love to come on my show? I don't know if I'll ever get an answer. I've written emails. I don't know if I'll ever get an answer, but you never know if you don't ask. What if one day I get an email from Gary Vee saying, yes, I would love to come on your show?
yeah.
What, I mean,
Well, I
what?
look at it. I look at it as well as it's like, it's not a matter of if you're going to be on the pirate broadcast. It's a matter of when you're going to be on the pirate broadcast. And if you turn me down now, you may not get another chance.
Yeah. So remember, I mean, once your reach starts getting to that point where people start getting familiar and know who you are, and that sort of thing. Then it comes again. It's going to be the point where he's like, I see who Russ Johns is. Let me reach out to him and get on the show. And by that point, you say, you know what? Let me think about it.
Yeah.
Throw that on him. Boy,
well, it's like Gary Vee said. He goes, he did he did hundreds of episodes of the Wine Library before anybody saw him.
Yeah. Again, but here you go. It's just an example of you got everybody. I tell everybody, if you want to get on live, start live. Yeah. Doesn't matter how good your production is. I tell everybody, if you want to go see what crap is, go watch my first episode. It was crap. Yeah, I tell everybody, my show now is crap, but I'm learning to get better crap out there. That's what it is. It's not the fact that because again, I don't think you ever feel like you're a master of your own, your own work until you've gotten to a point where you feel comfortable. But even then, at that point, I don't like feeling comfortable. That's why I constantly
continue to push the boundaries, Gabriel.
Yes,
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Yes,
this has been fantastic. I love the fact that you're here. I love the opportunity to have these conversations, and I know I don't necessarily go as long as show as you do. You're an hour show, right?
Well, my shows go anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and it's only because based on the conversation. If a conversation is short to the point, and I've had those, then hey, boom, on 30 minutes, we're done. Everything's gone. But when I have really good conversations, I've gone an hour, a little bit over an hour on some of them where it just, but again, I tell everybody when they get off though, and we have a little conversation afterwards, I say, how was that? And they go, it didn't even feel like an hour.
It didn't feel like an hour.
It doesn't.
It never does. I mean, I know that you and I, we could nerd out for all day. We could talk about different things. We could test and evaluate. Cause like right now I did the 2-minute tip I did on I did it on Ecamm.
Yeah.
So I had an overlay and I'm doing Ecamm, and I used to do it before when I was doing it. And my computer, after a few upgrades, cause it's different than StreamYard because it uses your computer resources versus AWS or Google Cloud resources.
Yeah. So if you have a good CPU processing unit to do, that's why I've been playing around with vMix. vMix is another kind of sort of thing. But again, if it's based off your CPU, if you got a good processing system and you can use a 4K card and all this, I've been looking at all this stuff, mirrorless DSR cameras to do, again, testing boundaries is what I'm trying to push.
I want to get, we were talking about before the show, we were talking about multi-camera feeds, and I want to get an ATEM Mini Pro.
Yes.
To be able to switch cameras and do some of that stuff. And then I want to get a couple of, I'd like to get a couple of Sony 6600s to actually switch between cameras and get some better camera feeds.
So when you're doing solos, right? Those days that you're having solos, you can test those out and be like, okay, it works. It's going to be it'd be a little bit different with the guest format, of course. But when you're doing the solo shows, why not? Or when you're producing workshop videos or you're doing anything like that, those things come in handy. Those are great ways to.
Well, it brings a little interest to the conversation. It brings a little, even if you're doing a 2-person, like like the Joe Rogan, where they have different cameras, where it's much more expensive. I mean, it's much more production,
but you do get
equipment.
You do get a more intimate feel, though. You get the feel of everything. That's what I love about video. You get the whole intimate thing about somebody's layout. You can see somebody's emotions, the talking, the whole sharing between two people. That's why I said, but we're talking about nerd stuff here.
Well, I know that I know we've gone over on our time, so I want to make sure that we're considerate of everybody's time. I know I do have some things that I have to get knocked off my list today, but thank you so much, Gabriel. It's always a pleasure, and love to have you back. And I know you're a pirate already.
Yeah.
And now that you're officially a pirate, so
thank you, everybody.
And you got and you're part of the Kindness is Cool.
That's right. Check out the shirt again, guys.
The Kindness is Cool part of the equation. So thank you for supporting the cause. I love it.
Anytime. And
if you're not connected to Gabriel, connect with Gabriel. You know, start the conversation, and if you have some interest in what he's doing, you know, support him. You know, support each other. That's what we're all here for: is building relationships, building conversations, supporting each other. Like now more than any other time in history, it's like, let's help each other out. It's not impossible for us to do this. So
no, not at all. And again, I tell everybody, you want to reach out and have a conversation, let's hop on. If you got a message to share, because again, I tell everybody, we've had really good conversations with people, and on the phone call, and I said, we could have done this on video. This is good stuff that people want to hear. So this is essentially what I'm talking to you about on the phone. We can talk about on video. That's the only difference. So reach out, man.
Yeah, reach out. Well, thank you, Gabriel. I appreciate it. And as you know, kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day. Take care.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.